This morning I did some fruit tree pruning, and I wanted to show you all this peach tree as an example for what we're looking through. We'll go through this tree, I'll show you what I pruned and why I pruned it. So when you look at a peach tree, you want to trim it as an open vase system, meaning there's no dominant central leader. The tree's splayed out open and flat on the top. You want to make sure that there's plenty of airspace inside of that tree. So you're making sure that the branches you choose to keep have plenty of room and there's good airflow going through that tree. I like to always imagine like picking up a small to medium sized barn cat and throwing it like a football through the tree. If you could do that, you've got her opened up enough for some airflow. Now also, as you're pruning these trees, you want to think about structure. So there's two reasons that you cut the tips off of the ends of fruit trees. Now, one of them, the obvious one, the limb gets overextended, starts bearing fruit, bends over and breaks off. So you want that tree to be at the proper angle and stout enough to hold that fruit. But another major reason is something called apical dominance. So in the terminal bud, meaning the very end bud on a limb, there is a hormone called auxin. And that auxin is sent from the terminal bud down the branch of the tree. That auxin suppresses the lateral bud growth. So when you cut the terminal bud off of a limb, you have just cut off the auxin factory. Now energy goes into the lateral buds, you get fruiting spars, you get much more production. So you cut the ends off of the limbs for structure and for more fruit production and internal branching. Now that being said, lots of internal branching is bad, which is suckers. So the branches that grow upright off of the tree on the internal, off of the trunk, or low off of the trunk, you want to prune those off. They are energy sappers. They're not going to produce fruit. They're only going to steal energy from the tree. So you're looking for structural pruning for balance and for lateral bud growth. You're looking for good spacing on these branches. So imagine each little branch that you choose to keep growing into its own space. And as you make your heading cuts and your trimming cuts, you want to cut directly in front of a bud. And you want to cut it in front of a bud that is pointing in the direction that you want that branch to go. It's really fun and it's not all that complicated. And on fruit trees, you can prune them much heavier than on like your typical yard trees. You don't want to cut the tips off of the branches on your yard trees. Late February is the best time to trim your fruit trees, so feel free to reach out to me if you'd like advice on how to trim your fruit trees or if you'd like for me to come trim your fruit trees for you. Thank you all for your interest. Reach out anytime for fruit trees or any trees in general. Thank you.